Bonjour, mes amis. Howdy dowdy. Welcome back to the channel. Actually, quick little fit check. You know, you got to start it off with like the ooh, you know. Really digging it today with the little booties. I don't wear the booties a lot. I do also have the Mew Mew scarf on, which I'm gonna have to take off because it's a little bit warm in my room. I really do love filming YouTube videos. This is almost as much as I love blowing a fuse in my car and not being able to roll up my windows and having to leave it parked outside on the street, which is what I had to do last night. Nonetheless, we persevere and we talk about fashion, the only real way to cope. Today, we get to talk about improving your style without changing your clothes. Now, this sounds a little bit strange, I know, but trust me, it's a great one. And in my opinion, it's the one thing that's missing from most people's outfits. The thesis of today's video is that you don't. Did I just cross my legs again? Did I just cross my legs twice? I uncrossed my legs to check my notes. I think I just crossed my legs twice in the last week. I digress, whatever. The thesis of today's video is that you don't need better clothes, you need better energy. Now let's enter serious mode, of course, because serious mode's important. Let me see, how far do we want to zoom? That looks probably about right? What do we think? We feeling pretty serious here? I feel pretty serious here. Do we feel serious here? Now that we're in serious mode, this video is going to be broken down into 3 parts, starting with the intangibles. Most fashion advice is about your clothing, right? How do you wear or find better clothes? How do you put clothes together? Stuff like that. And of course that makes sense. It's natural to talk about that when it comes to fashion and style because, well, I mean, clothing is the fashion and the style, right? But there's also an entire realm outside of that dictates not necessarily the clothes that you wear, but the way that you're perceived. And in life, perception is a lot. It's a lot more than people give credit. You could wear the coolest outfit on the planet, but if you're perceived poorly by those around you, that's gonna make your outfit take a hit, right? And people won't think your outfit necessarily looks as good or your style is as good because they don't perceive you very well. Conversely, you could not dress the best on the planet, but if people perceive you really well, well, that kind of gives a little bit of extra credibility to your outfit. I personally grew up playing sports. I don't know about y'all, but I grew up playing basketball, and one of the biggest things that I was always the best at was the intangibles. And I say that because I wasn't really that great at scoring. And so the only way my dad could be like, oh yeah, you did great, was by saying, oh, you had a lot of good intangibles. And granted, he was trying to, you know, make his son feel better about not being the star player out there, but also there's a lot of merit to the intangibles. And the intangibles, when it comes to basketball, are things like hustling and closing and boxing out your man so that maybe your teammate ends up getting a rebound, right? You stopped your man from being able to get a rebound and it instead turned to your teammate getting a rebound. Or maybe you cut really hard on offense towards the basket. You get your defender to chase you and then you get another player's defender to have to help because they're like, oh no, if this guy cuts and gets the ball, he's gonna score. So now not only is your defender chasing you, but you have a second defender who's taking their attention off the guy that they're guarding, and all of a sudden maybe your point guard gets a great pass to the guy that he's defending. And while you technically weren't the one who made the pass or made the basket, the fact that you hustled and you cut really hard across the court and you pulled the attention of the defense away from their priority, it allowed your team to score. And that's stuff that doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but it does make a huge difference. It's kind of like the unsung heroes. And the first unsung hero of fashion is your posture. The first thing that people perceive about you typically is the way you're standing, the way you carry yourself. I like my outfit a lot. It's a lot different if I'm sitting straight up, if I'm like looking, you know, if my back's straight, and the same thing if I'm standing, right? If I'm standing straight up, okay, well, this doesn't really work because we're in serious mode and you can't see me. But if I'm standing straight out versus if I'm slouching, I'm hunched over, you know, just head down, I'm kind of slouching at my back, you know, something like this. Like sitting up straight, standing up straight makes a lot of difference. And part of that is because posture kind of reveals to those around you how you feel about yourself. If you carry yourself and stand up tall and nice and straight and you got your shoulders back, that presents to others as you feeling good about yourself, right? Typically, if you don't feel good about yourself, you kind of want to hide in your hood, you want to slouch over. But if you feel good about yourself, you're gonna be standing up straight, shoulders back. And for all those kids who hated being told, hey, sit up straight by your mom like I did my whole life, unfortunately, this is something that you just got to train. This is something I actually work on every day. And it's really, really difficult. I'll be honest, if you don't grow up with good posture, it's hard, but it does make a world of difference in the way that others perceive you. The second intangible on this list is the way that you walk. This sounds a little crazy. It sounds like Connor, what are we doing? What are we talking about? The way that you walk? Come on, the way that you walk. But genuinely, hear me out. Like, the way that you walk can let people around you know whether you want to be seen or not. A lot of communication is done through actions. It's done through movement. It's done through things that aren't necessarily words, and you communicate in the way that you move. So if you're kind of like shuffling your feet, you're kind of slowly walking, you're kind of like whatever, lazily just strolling, that's going to communicate something different than having a really confident stride and walking with a purpose and going somewhere and like really, taking a stride to get there. Again, we're in serious mode, so I can't really walk very well, but walking kind of like, something, whatever. That's a lot different than if I'm like walking around, like think about like models on runways. Like, there's a reason why a lot of them like walk powerfully. There's a reason why there's a lot of work that models will put into their walk, the way that they walk down runways, because it communicates a lot about you to those around you who are perceiving you. If you walk confidently, that says, hey, I belong here. Like think about all the spy movies where people will like put on like a waiting outfit, or they'll put on like a nice suit and they'll just walk past security because they're just confident. Obviously they're movies, but like that works. Like think about the Louvre heisters. Those guys just walked up confidently with vests, broken through a window, walked into the Louvre and stole things. And like nobody questioned them. There's even videos of the security guards like watching them do stuff. And this has to go more into Louvre security. But I mean, the fact that they just strode in there confidently like they deserve to be there, I'm sure that played a part in the psychology of why the security guards just didn't want to do anything. Maybe they, did something else and that I didn't see. But like, I'm sure that played a lot of psychological, or I'm sure that had a lot of psychological factor in the fact that they were able to just stride in there, grab things, and walk out. One of my favorite stories of this actually is I was hanging out with my friends at the usual spot that we always like to go. It's like just like a hangout bar. And I was really hungry, so I wanted to go get a burrito with a taco stand, which the taco stand is one of my favorite places to get burritos in Southern California. I'm walking past this one pizzeria that my friend Joe works at. And as I walk past Joe, I'm kind of hungry. So I'm walking with a purpose to go get this burrito because I'm hungry. I want to go get my burrito. And I'm locked in, I'm focused, and I'm just like, pass. And so I walk by, I grab my burrito, I'm coming back, and I remember Joe stops me and goes, wow, you kind of got a power walk. You walk with purpose. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I haven't really thought about that because, I've known Joe for like I've known Joe for many years at this point, and I didn't used to be like that, but through the past few years, I've really like put intention into the way that I walk. And the fact that she noticed and brought it up and could tell, and she's somebody who knew me pretty well through college, and now we don't get to see each other a lot. So the fact that she saw me and said this, I was like, oh wow, people do take note. Like Joe knew who I was, and she noticed that like I've changed my walk and I walk with purpose now. So a couple easy ways to improve your walk really fast is one, walk with intention. If you're gonna walk, make sure, hey, I'm going somewhere. And another thing, this is actually really weird, but something that I found this is a little anecdotal. I don't know if there's any evidence behind this, but I've found that walking with shoes that have a really nice heel click makes me feel very just powerful when I'm walking. For instance, I have these Acne Studios loafers, and the sound of the heel hitting the floor, like you ever hear like high heels in a movie, like the sound effect of high heels walking? There's something about that just communicates power, communicates like business. And I think a lot of that is because you're telling people, hey, not only do I want you to see me, but I want to be heard. I'm sure there's some scientific study out there, like there's some psychology in saying like, hey, I want to be heard as well. And so I have this powerful heel click. It sounds good. And if people don't even see me walking, they'll know I'm coming from around the corner. I'm communicating my presence. I'm letting people perceive me before they even see me. And that can add a lot to your walk. Those are just a couple of the intangibles. There are a few more, like, you know, being warm and inviting, smiling at people, but that's just stuff for another video. These are just the things that, you know, I've noticed very evidently in my own life over the past few years. So they're the things that I'm focusing on. But now let's switch over to the tangibles, I guess you could call them. The first one, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but hear me out because I want you to understand fully what I'm saying before you comment something angrily. The first one is working out and eating healthy. Now, you don't need to be some crazy nutritionist, some crazy gym nut and devoting 6 days a week to lifting as hard as you can and running marathons and meal prepping everything and being incredibly just super health conscious. I never ingest sugar. But the fact of the matter is that the way you feel goes a long way in how you're presenting yourself to others. And working out, being active, it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be crazy active, but just being active in daily life. Maybe that's just getting your steps in. Maybe it is going for a jog. Maybe it is lifting a little. Maybe it's just playing basketball or playing volleyball, going surfing, whatever it is. Being consistently active, eating healthy, making sure you're not just stuffing your body with terrible things, getting a good amount of sleep at night. All of those things improve your mood tremendously. And there's plenty of science that like backs that up. And I'm sure there's just plenty of anecdotal stuff too. I'm sure for most of y'all, when you work out consistently or you're active and you're eating healthy, like, I mean, you don't even need, you just think about it. If you're eating healthy versus eating not healthy, of course you're going to feel better, right? I mean, let's just be honest. This isn't about getting muscular. This is about making your brain feel good and produce good hormones because that's going to make you feel good. And when you feel good, people perceive that. They pick up on that, whether consciously or subconsciously. The second tangible, and a lot of you, so many of you need to hear this. The second tangible is grooming and hygiene. Okay, we need to have good hygiene and groom. I don't understand, especially guys. I know so many guys watch this. Why do we not have good hygiene? It's mind-boggling to me. I guess I kind of understand it because I did grow up, you know, as a male. So like, I kind of understand. I remember being a kid and like not caring enough about washing my hands or like coming in from school dirty or like brushing my teeth every night. But like now that I'm an adult, it's like, what are we doing? If you're neglecting your basic hygiene and that's being communicated to others, what that shows is that you lack self-respect. You do not respect yourself enough to brush your teeth, enough to maybe do your hair. Obviously, you don't do your hair every day. Sometimes you do want to wear a hat, and you know, please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like there's days where sometimes you just feel off or you're sick or X, Y, and Z. But for the most part, people can tell if you're not brushing your teeth and your breath smells really bad, or if you're not showering and you smell really bad, or if you're not shaving your face well, or if you're just letting yourself completely go. Like things like skincare, this isn't a little bit more extra rather than mandatory, but like things like just doing skincare, taking care of your skin to make sure that your skin looks nice. There's different levels, right? There's people who just neglect their grooming and hygiene. There's people who do the bare minimum to take care of themselves, and there's people who do a little extra and go above and beyond. And honestly, going above and beyond is not even hard. It's taking 20 minutes. I just filmed a video on my TikTok about this actually. It's taking 20 minutes in the morning to really make sure you floss, you use mouthwash, you brush your teeth, maybe you gua sha, but you do things like skincare. You take a little bit of time to style your hair. You put on deodorant. You know, like you could be the best dressed person in the room, right? You could be the best dressed in any room, but the second somebody can tell that you don't groom yourself, you don't have good hygiene, any style credibility you have instantaneously breaks, because you can't communicate as a person that you are intentional through your style, but you're not intentional through your self-care. You have to be completely intentional in all aspects of your life. Otherwise, it comes across as performative, most likely because it is performative. It doesn't make sense to have a lifestyle where I am very intentional with the way I dress, but then I don't take care of my body or myself. That's performative. And just in general, if you walk up to somebody you could be wearing full designer, the coolest designer outfit ever, you could be just the coolest dressed in the entire universe. If you walk up to somebody and you smell and your breath smells, I guarantee that is the only thing that they remember. They do not care about anything else. If you look disheveled and worn and destroyed and you have huge eye bags and you just look like you've never taken care of yourself a day in your life, that is all people are going to care about. They will not remember your clothing for a second. They'll just remember, damn, that guy smelled. So please, I beg you, start taking your grooming and your hygiene seriously. You don't need to have 1,000 steps in your skincare routine, but just do something. clothing. Please make sure you smell good, or at the very least that you don't smell bad. And I promise you, if you start doing that, you start taking care of yourself, it's going to shape your brain in a way where you start having more self-respect, and it'll again make you feel better. And the better you feel, the better you're gonna look. Those are all of the tangibles, which would make the intangibles and the tangibles. And now we have the third most important thing, and that is the common thread that kind of runs through everything. I guess I would call it like the glue that holds all of this together. And I'll give you a second to think about it and guess. I've maybe said the word a couple times actually, but there is one thing that is the key to improving your style without changing your outfit. Any guesses? Any guesses? You back to the classroom? Yes. Any guesses? What was that? What was that? Money? Being rich? No. The common thread here is confidence. Something you hear so many people talk about, but it is so unbelievably true. Confidence is the easiest way to boost your style to the next level, and you don't even have to change your outfit. You could just start standing straighter after watching this video. And even if you don't feel confident, there is this super classic saying, fake it till you make it. There's a lot of actually psychology on this, and you can go look up studies. They're very, very fascinating, but there's a lot of psychology where when you begin to think about yourself in like a positive way, right? You start to tell yourself, no, I am confident. You start to fake confidence. You start to walk around and be like, oh man, I'm not confident, but I'm gonna act like I am. All of a sudden your brain starts to think, actually, I am confident. I am confident. This is the way we're acting, so that's what we are. The more you think you're confident, the more you act confident, the more you just actually become confident. And everything that I've described so far adds into that confidence. When you sit up taller, that makes you feel more confident. When you walk with intention, that makes you feel more confident. When you work out, you eat healthy. When you groom yourself, you have good hygiene habits, that makes you feel more confident because you're taking care of yourself. You are signaling to your own self, to your own brain, that you respect yourself enough to take care of yourself. And in turn, people pick up on those cues. They can see that. And not only that, but confidence can be used as a tool to measure your own style and to see whether or not something fits in with your own style. For example, one of the best ways to know if something's your style, like say for instance, you have a jacket, right? One of the best ways to figure out if it's your style is not to just put it on in the mirror and like style it 100 different times and look at yourself and say, do I like this, do I not? One of the best ways to diagnose if it's your style is to just walk outside with it, go out into public and see how you feel. Do you feel confident in that jacket? Do you not feel confident? Does it make you feel seen? Does it make you feel too seen? Does it make you feel overly exposed? Or do you feel like you're in your nice fortress and you feel solid and confident in that jacket? Oftentimes your emotional reaction to the clothes that you're wearing, to the outfits that you're wearing, tells you more about your style than your eyeballs will tell you about the actual just aesthetic judgments that you have regarding your style. And obviously there is room to go outside of your comfort zone and try new things and maybe do something even though you don't feel super confident in it. Like that's obviously a whole nother area of discussion, but that's because you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. I totally understand that. And you build discernment the more you do this, but there is a lot of merit in how you feel when you exit the house in the clothes that you're wearing. All that to say, you don't necessarily improve your style just by buying new clothes and buying new outfits. Sometimes you improve your style by becoming the person who should fit into those clothes. Because at the end of the day, style in fashion is about you. It's about how you feel, about how you feel in the outfits that you're wearing. And that's all that I got for you. Today was a little bit, that's zooming in. We're going too serious. Now we're going anti-serious mode. Today's video was a little bit more abstract, I realize, or maybe it wasn't. I don't really know. Today was a video that I've wanted to share for a long time. Obviously it's a bit harder because it's not necessarily just like I said earlier, just straight up clothing advice. Like, hey, here's how to improve by wearing this silhouette or wearing these colors or blah, 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 blah. Those are a lot more tangible. This is a lot more intangible, a lot more, like I said, I guess, abstract. So hopefully this helped, but all that to say, confidence really plays the biggest role. If you are confident, I promise you, the more confident you are, even if you have to fake it, I can't stress that enough. Even if you have to fake it, the more confident you are in your clothes, the more people will think that you have great style, even if you don't change anything. So yeah, I don't really know how to end this one, but I guess we'll call that it for a day. Oh, actually, you know what I have to show y'all? I have to show y'all, I just put up my art wall. I want to show y'all that. Let me grab this. I wish you could see. Wait, hold on. Somebody asked for a room tour. Let me do a little room tour, actually. So my room is a bit of a mess right now. We got all of my clothes on the bed. But yeah, this is like my wall. I have my nice little paper lantern up there, big old monstera. I love plants. And then I do have all this stuff over here, and I actually just hung my art wall back up. It's obviously poorly lit because I have, you know, a big old light to light me for the video, but I just hung up my art wall. I have a video of that on my TikTok, and I had that at my old place, and I really do love it. So if you want to go check that out, it is on my TikTok. Feel free to do that. In other exciting news, I'm actually moving to New York in April. I am a little bit nervous, and it is a little bit bittersweet because I love my room. I've put so much work into it, and it looks great. I feel so comfortable and at home here. And also, I'm leaving my community, my friends, everybody I love, but I'm moving out there with my best friend, and I'm very excited. I've really wanted to live in New York. I think there's so many great opportunities there. I have so many friends there, and I feel very at home whenever I'm in New York. So like I said, it's very bittersweet. It's a lot of different emotions, a lot of excitement, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness, a lot of hope, just like so many amazing things. I'm very excited for that next chapter, but yeah, we only have a few more videos together here in this room. So until the next one, I hope y'all love this, and I hope you go out a little bit more confident today. So yeah, love y'all so much. I'll see you in the next one, and deuces. And I guess that is becoming a part of my YouTube. It's part of my YouTube now.